Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
In the course of a long season, every team experiences ups and downs on the road to, hopefully, late October baseball. In the midst of the lows, sometimes it takes a spark to turn things around, to right the ship. As your Rangers fight through what could be viewed as their funk, Yu Darvish's return could very well be the spark that ignites them.
Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is presented by high-speed internet from AT&T. IS Wrigley Field, home for today's clash, the Cubs and the Rangers. Game 2 of our 3-game interleague series as we have just begun the second half of the regular season, and the Rangers, we're going to get back on a winning track. Hello again, everybody. Welcome into the booth. Great to be with you this afternoon. I'm Dave Raymond with Steve Busby. The big news today, not so much there's a baseball game today. It's the Cubs. It's interleague play. The story today is Yu Darvish returns to the mound for the Rangers.
Well, Rangers looking for that spark, as you mentioned, David. It's going to be an important start for the Rangers. It's going to be an important start for Yu Darvish. He's happy to get back on the field. Rangers are glad to have a man with his presence back on the mound. Hopefully his fourth start will go a little better than his last start did. Interleague play, he has been very good. And typically, when Yu Darvish matches up against a team that has not seen him before, he comes out as a winner. 10 career interleague starts, 7-1. Look at that ERA, 177 in 72 innings of work. Opponents hit a robust 202 against him. So Yu Darvish very definitely has the upper hand in that first matchup.
Well, and his opponent today, Jason Hamill. You know, Darvish hasn't won in over a month. Of course, he hasn't pitched really in over a month.
Yeah.
Well, the same is true for Hamill, except that he's pitched, and it has not gone well lately.
No, it really hasn't, Dave. You know, Hamill's plight has really been the story of the Cubs. They started struggling in early June, and that's when Hamill's went south. His last 6 starts, 0-4, as compared to 7-1 coming out of the chute. That ERA, almost 2.5 times what it was earlier in the year. And you look at the base runners per inning, 1.23 as compared to 1.08, and that is a critical difference for a guy like Hamels, who doesn't really rely on the strikeout for a lot of his outs. He relies on putting the ball in play and getting things done quickly, and he has not been able to do that. Cubs are hoping that with their resurgence, they can count on Hamill to resurge too.
Well, we'll see a steady diet of sliders from Jason Hamill this afternoon. Rangers hoping to get to him offensively and get some support to Yu Darvish. Well, we'll find out. Starting lineups, we got baseball coming up just around the bend.
brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. By Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Middle game of our three-game series, Rangers and Cubs. Time for us to check in with the third member of our team today. Let's check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, Dave, thanks very much. Of course, the non-waiver trade deadline just a couple of weeks away from right now. People wondering what John Daniels and his staff and the baseball operations department might do as far as bolstering this already good Rangers lineup. JD says, you know what? Sometimes getting healthy is like adding better players than you could even trade for. Sort of like today's starter and Keone Kela, who are both back in the lineup.
In Keone and in Darvish, you're talking about two guys that, you know, one at the front of the rotation, one at the back of the bullpen, that are better than anyone that's going to be moved at the deadline. I mean, these are two, you know, elite level talents, and you know, Banny will work and get them back in the flow, but it's a big shot in the arm to get these two back here.
Anything wrong with Shin-Soo Choo?
You know, he had that low back strain in Boston, came back and played with it. It got better, tightened up a little bit on him over the break, so we went and get him checked out here today. I think it's the same thing. We're waiting on confirmation on that, but most likely another day-to-day kind of deal.
Everybody talks about it and writes about it as the trade deadline, the waiver trade deadline approaches. Everybody talks about, you know, JD's going to get busy. JD's going to. Do you feel sort of that? Probably don't read much of it, but do you feel that, like, the expectation of that you will, as you typically have been, be active?
You know, I think we want to do what makes most sense for the team, both short and long term. And you know, when you have a club playing well, I think the front office always feel like, hey, we want to contribute, we want to help. This is the time of year where we can help out, but it's got to make sense for us. So, you know, it's complicated by the fact that there aren't a lot of teams that are really out of it. Which, you know, limits the number of players out there that can truly help us. But if there's the right fit, I think our fans know, I think our players know, we're always going to look to make a deal.
And of course, baseball operations always helps in the big picture. Kind of cool, though, that the competitive juices are flowing with them too right now, and they want to help in the small picture. The team is feeling good. They were in the clubhouse today. A little later on, we'll talk about how this adversity they've gone through might actually help them. But coming up next, as we get you ready for baseball, back to the studio, and the Rangers Most Likely featuring Cesar Ramos. Rick Renner and Mark McLemore are next as we get you ready for the Cubs and the Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest. field against the Chicago Cubs yesterday did obviously not go as expected, and the Rangers know that they struggled down the stretch before the All-Star break, but none of that has them too worried. In fact, there's at least one Ranger who thinks all of that may wind up helping this team.
I think what we proved in the first half is that we're resilient. I mean, think about all the comeback wins that we had. You know, showing that we could do that gives us all, you know, the belief that we can bounce back from this little, you know, drought that we're in right now. But I said it before the break, and I'll say it again. You know, adversity is good for teams, and this is only going to make us better. You know, this is kind of open our eyes to what our weaknesses are and build on them and try to kind of seal them.
And certainly anybody who's ever been through a 162-game season has been through little stretches like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, the teams that are good enough to win the World Series are the teams that bounce back and right the ship. You know, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun summer, and this is only going to make it even a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, do you think things like this, you do almost look back on them and like, you know, we kind of overcame that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, nobody remembers it. You know what I mean? Like, there's been plenty of years where I've gone 0 for 40, and at the end of the year, I never remember that. You know, you don't think about that stuff. Or, you know, you go through a 2-week stretch or an 8-game losing streak. You don't remember that. You remember all the good stuff. And I think at the end of the season, we're all going to look back and be pretty happy.
Yeah, and that's a great attitude that Ian Desmond is certainly helping to promote in the clubhouse. Look, I'm not in the business of predicting these things. I learned a long time ago you can't predict anything with these guys. But I will say that there was a mood, a mode in the clubhouse that was up, and it sounded a lot like this team sounded when they were doing things so well on a road trip not long ago when they were 8-2 on a 10-game trip. They're fired up. They're ready to go, and you can expect good things from these Rangers today. Let's get it back up to you, Dave. Buzz?
Yeah, thanks, John. And it's true, Buzz. I mean, there was a real good energy in the clubhouse today, and I think some of that certainly has to be attributable to that man's return. Yu Darvish back on the mound today for the Rangers, and hopefully that will give them a little bit of a lift. Let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Rangers at 54 and 37 coming into today. Rougned Odor back in that leadoff spot again, and at second base. He's got a 5-game hitting streak going. Then Ian Desmond in center field. Adrian Beltre batting third, playing third. And Mitch Moreland gets the duties today in that cleanup role playing first base. Ryan Rua bats fifth and left. Nomar Mazara needs to get it going out there in right field today. Elvis Andrus at shortstop. Bobby Wilson's had great success against Jason Hamill in there behind the plate today. And Yu Darvish will bat ninth today and, of course, have the start.
And that lineup put together by Jeff Bannister facing Jason Hamill. Hamill, as we mentioned, kind of fallen on hard times along with the Cubs team as a whole. Sinker slider pitcher. Nothing fancy about how he goes about his work. A little above average fastball. The Rangers, considering that sinking action on his fastball, try to get Hamill to get the ball up in the strike zone so they can be aggressive. A good slider, a good sinker when he has it going. He will mix and match with those two pitches, adding a little, taking a little bit off. He can be crafty when he has his good command.
So he's ready to go. So is Rougned Odor. And this beautiful Saturday afternoon, the first pitch is laced out to center field. Hayward coming on, and he makes the catch for the first out of the ball game. Well, Jason Hayward getting the start in center field today, and the rest of the Cubs defense. At left field is Wilson Contreras, who caught yesterday. Chris Bryant, who was at third base yesterday, is out and right. On the infield, it's Tommy La Stella at third, joining Addison Russell on the left side of the infield. Ben Zobrist at second base today, along with Anthony Rizzo over at first. Miguel Montero does the catching for Jason Hamill this afternoon. Here's Ian Desmond. And he will take strike one from Hamill. Desmond, fifth in the league at .319. 15 home runs, but has not had great success against Hamill in his career, and he's in a hole here, 0-2. Desmond slowed down yesterday, despite those good numbers for better than a week's worth of games. Little roller off the end of the bat, picked up by Zobrist, and there are 2 gone.
Dave, already we've gotten to see Jason Hamill break out his repertoire. The little cutting action on the fastball occasionally. He also threw that sinking fastball, a good sharp slider. Ian Desmond saw all 3 of them in that at bat. So it's in the early going, it looks like Hamill feeling pretty good about what he's taken out there with it.
2 quick outs on this 70-degree day. Another breeze around 10 miles per hour at game time as Beltre backs off of ball 1. Yesterday, the wind was a certain factor in the game, but it changed direction several times. Swing and a miss at a slider, and it's 1-1 on Beltre. Well, he's had it going a little bit better lately as the average up at 281. That's 3rd today for Jeff Bannister, and swings hard but does not hit it too hard. Is Contreras there in left field, and it's a 7-pitch first inning for Jason Hamill. And he's effective to start, and now what we've been waiting for, Yu Darvish coming out to pitch. Against Jason Hamill. And now the Cubs will trot out this lineup today. Tommy La Stella, 4th time this year he's been used in that leadoff spot. Chris Bryant in right field bats 2nd. Anthony Rizzo, very dangerous at first base, batting 3rd. Switch hitting Ben Zobrist and Wilson Contreras. Jason Hayward right in the heart of the order. Addison Russell, the dazzling young shortstop, bats 7th. Miguel Montero catching and batting 8th. And then Jason Hamill has the start today, and he can swing the bat for a pitcher.
Yeah, Joe Maddon's lineup facing Yu Darvish. And Darvish back off the disabled list, just activated today, and he will be making his 4th start of the year. 2-0 this year. He has 39 wins in his 3+ major league seasons with the Rangers. So Yu anxious to get back out there. We'll see how he fares today on what's a good day to pitch here at Wrigley Field.
And the righty's first offering is well off the mark. Ball 1 to Tommy La Stella. Mentioned La Stella getting to start on that leadoff spot. He has a .350 on-base average, so he's done a nice job in that role. Though he hasn't been asked to fill this role too many times this year. That's ahead 2-0. Very good and versatile defensive player. And quite frankly, putting up decent offensive numbers. This one's just a little off the plate. It's 3-0.
Yeah, Dave, you know, we talked about the versatility of this Cubs ball club. It allows Joe Maddon to get everybody involved here now. The 2 days, including today's lineup, everybody but David Ross, the backup catcher, has been in the ball game. that's important. It's important coming back off the All-Star break that everybody get engaged immediately, and Joe Maddon's been able to do that.
A 3-1 from Darvish, and turns sharply into the Rangers dugout. It's a full count. Not only has he gotten everybody in the lineup or, in the action here. There's Ross. But in today's lineup, Anthony Rizzo is the only guy who's at the same position he played yesterday. Everybody else is Addison Russell. I'll take that back. Addison Russell as well. But he will shuffle guys all over the place. The payoff pitch from Darvish, and he loses Listella. Cubs have their lead man on here in the first inning as we take a look at the Rangers defense behind you, Darvish. Brought to you by Brake Check. Ryan Rule getting another start today in left field. Ian Desmond, per usual, in center, and Nomar Mazara gets the start in right. Beltre and Andrus on the left side of the infield. It's Odor and Moreland today getting the start at first. Bobby Wilson forming the battery with Yu Darvish. Good to see Moreland back in the lineup. Playing out there defensively as Chris Bryant steps in and takes ball one. Bryant, 25 home runs, tops in the junior circuit. Pardon me, senior circuit, 285 average. And it's 1-1.
Now, Bryant, seeing the Darvish slider, or hard curveball, if you will, and Bryant really probably the least selective hitter in the lineup for the Cubs on a daily basis. And that doesn't diminish what he can do when he hits the baseball. Got a lot of power.
Chases one there. The count 1-2.
But this is the difficulty, Dave, we were talking about. The first time that you see Yu Darvish, he has about 15 different breaking balls that he can throw you, and the fastball moves all over the place. So it's not easy to pinpoint how he's going to pitch to you in any individual at bat. Yu Darvish goes so much on feel, how it feels to him in that particular moment.
Checks on Listella. Courtesy toss over there. Now Darvish making his first start since June 8th when he came out of that game. It was a start against the Houston Astros. Ended up going on the disabled list, and it was called right shoulder discomfort. Again, peeks at Listella, but comes to the plate, and that looked awfully good, but it's 2-2. Take a look at our Kubota power stats. Well, Yu Darvish, first ever start against the Cubs, and when teams are seeing Yu Darvish for the first time, you made mention of this earlier, 13-4 record, 2.73 ERA. I mean, he's a tough guy to gauge quickly, and there's strike three called to Chris Bryant.
Now, Bryant had seen a number of breaking balls, and all of a sudden, Darvish comes back in, a mid-90s fastball, and paints the outside corner. Not much you're going to be able to do with that. Tough to pull the trigger after you've seen so many slow pitches. That's the challenge Darvish presents, especially for right-handed hitters. Breaking ball down and away to right-handers and locking them up, then the fastball coming back the other way. It can be very much a problem.
Well, big strikeout right there with now a dangerous left-handed hitter in Anthony Rizzo. And he blows one right past him, 96 miles per hour with that heater. Darvish, you see him continue to kind of roll his shoulders and make sure that that neck and those traps are comfortable and loose. That's where we saw him sort of flex in that game against the Astros. And he puts another one on the outside corner. Strike two on Rizzo. Now, he was feeling around there a little bit with Listella and maybe even the first pitch or two to Chris Bryant, just trying to get the feel for it. But has come back now and filled the zone a little bit.
Yeah, trying to get his release point. And early in the ball game, I think you find starters, if they're going to have problems, they usually have it early. And then you allow them to settle in. they can be doubly tough.
2-strike offering and backdoor breaking ball. Not going to hit for him. Just the 4th start of the year for Darvish. He'd come back off the disabled list. Made 3 starts and then that setback. Just a little more than a month and his 1-2 pitch. And runs away from him. Yeah, I would imagine any starter on any given day, it may take a handful of pitches to make that transition from the bullpen to the mound, just whatever the adrenaline difference, that type of thing. But when you've been off for a month, that's a different story as well. From the stretch, it is 2-2. And he got him swinging. So Rizzo down on strikes. Back-to-back punch-outs for Yu Darvish.
And they locked up Bryant with a good fastball down and away. And now he gets Rizzo, that breaking ball coming down and in. That's that back foot slider that Yu Darvish will throw. And when he gets that ball in that place to a left-handed hitter, there aren't too many around that can get the ball out in front of home plate and keep it fair if they make contact.
So a couple of real good at-bats there for Darvish. And now the switch hitting Ben Zobrist. And he pumps one right in there, strike 1. Zobrist went from the leadoff spot yesterday to the cleanup position today. Does have some pretty good power, though known primarily for that on-base percentage, which is approaching .390. Had a couple of walks yesterday. Infield back deep with La Stella at first. And Darvish gets him to offer 0-2.
And Zobrist, the only one on the Cubs roster that has had more than just 1 or 2 at-bats against Darvish, and Zobrist 3 for 10 in previous matchups. But that's not always an advantage to have seen Darvish. He has so many weapons to battle you with. You probably still haven't seen them all.
Runner going. And there's a strikeout swinging. So Darvish, after the leadoff walk to La Stella, strikes out the side in the bottom of the 1st. Scoreless as we go to inning number 2. Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night is going to be Wednesday, July 27th. Oakland A's in town to play the Rangers. Head out to the ballpark early. Enjoy all the hot dogs you can eat for just $1 each. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Here we go to the 2nd inning, and Mitch Moreland leading things off. Moreland in that cleanup spot today. In 229 with 11 home runs, but just no doubt happy to be back in the lineup. And it is 1-1. He started just one of the team's last 9 games as he continues to work his way back from a calf strain. And those can be very challenging. And Marlon would be the first to tell you a little bit about that. Dick Bender misses. It's 2-1. He was scratched on July 3rd at Minnesota when he experienced that tightness in his calf. We've seen him as a pinch hitter a couple of times, but it has been limited availability for me. Left-handed hitter against the right-hander Jason Hamill, who was very efficient in the first. He's 3-1, and this one popped up to the left side. Still up. Tommy Russell dealing with the sun and makes the catch.
Yeah, we might want to make note, Dave, that the wind is starting to change a bit. It was blowing in directly from right field. It's now kind of quartering, going from the right field foul pole over toward the left field foul pole more. And apparently as the afternoon goes on, it'll become more pronounced out toward left field or the left field foul line. So that's going to have an effect on any ball hit from center field around the left.
Ryan Rua takes strike one. Rua batting 5th today. 7 homers, 19 driven in. He started yesterday, back to there again today, but hitless in his last 10 at bats, and that'll put an end to that streak. A single into left field for Rua. Rangers have their first base runner of the afternoon.
Well, you remember yesterday, Ryan Rua against Kyle Hendrick got sawed off his first time up, hit a little ground ball to the right side. Well, he gets sawed off here by Jason Hamill, but he's able to get the head of the bat out far enough to drive it into left field for the base hit. So not quite as bad a jam shot. This one much preferable results.
Well, now we'll see how Hamill contends with working out of the stretch. Nomar Mazara, another guy who has been scuffling a little bit lately. Nomar 5 for 22 in his last 7 games. And you want to take that a little further, you can go over better part of a month now, span over which he's hitting just better than 200. There's a point where he was hitting 322 this year, but that has dropped precipitously to a very respectable 282, but that's how he's been swinging it lately as he shanks this one off to the left side, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, he was voted the April and May Rookie of the Month in the American League, and all of a sudden guys started making the second round of adjustments against him have had a more profound effect than the first round. He was able to counter the first round, getting the ball off of his fists, but the second round, mixing in that breaking ball down and changing speeds a little bit more, has been harder for him to overcome.
He still maintained that very cool demeanor. I mean, he seems confident, comfortable on a daily basis. And he's just trying to work through that next tier. It does tend to come along for hot rookies. A 1-1, and Hamill sneaks it in there. The Cubs have lost the last 6 games that Hamill has started. Now, you could attribute some of that perhaps to Hamill's performance. The fact of the matter is, Cubs, prior to the All-Star break, they were losing games regardless who was starting. They really struggled. And this one's buried. It's 2-2 to Mazara. And Joe Madden and his club, they were anxious to get to that All-Star break, get a little break, and like anybody who won yesterday, very happy to get the second half started on a positive note. But it doesn't mean that all their troubles are behind them. There was a time this year when Folks are wondering just how many games could the Cubs win. They might win them all. As the pitch is very high, and it's a full count to Mazzara. We get on to 25-6 start, and we're leaving everybody in the dust. But reality came crashing down swiftly and justly, as it does in this game. Runner leading, and Rua's going. There's a swing and a miss for a strikeout. Rua into second safely, though, with a stolen base. 7th of the year for Rua. But with that strikeout, they're now 2 away.
Well, first strikeout by Hamill this afternoon. He got that pitch down and in. It looked like the hard slider. Down at the shoe top of Nomar Mazara. And that's the combination that Nomar has been having trouble adjusting to this time through. That fastball away, down, and the breaking ball coming down and in from a right hand.
It's going to be up to Elvis Andrus now. Elvis, who drove in 42 runs in the first half. Very productive and very good in these spots. Brings a 290 average to today's action. And we've seen a little bit of Hamill over the years and handled him pretty well. Tall right-hander uncoils, and that's a beauty right on the outside corner, same spot. Looks like he's got some pretty good movement, Buzz. That thing's tailing into right-handed hitters.
Yeah, the command is the big thing for Jason Hamill, Dave, and that you see that last pitch, that thing split the outside corner in two, and that's what he can do when he starts doing that, and then is able to throw that breaking ball with equal command. It's a pretty short day for a lot of hitters. I mean, it's not overpowering stuff, but it certainly is very, very good stuff for a major league pitcher. He can maneuver that thing around the strike zone pretty well.
There's 1-2 to Andrus. Did he go on appeal? No. Corey Blazer, the umpire, down at first. John Tumpane, the plate umpire, immediately looking down there.
That's a good call. You get Elvis had control of that bat head, that it didn't sneak out into the hitting zone, and Corey Blazer very authoritatively putting the palms down, safe sign, no swing.
He's trying to work Elvis away. He goes out there again. Good block by Montero to keep it close enough that Rua holds second base.
A nice job by Montero. Miguel's been around for a while. He's been very, very good at blocking balls in the dirt. And that's one area where Wilson Contreras is working on to improve himself. Young man we saw yesterday behind the plate, a rocket arm, but little trouble defensively still.
Payoff pitch. We'll do it again. Well, this inning already, Hamill has gone to 3 balls on 3 different Rangers hitters. That's after a 7-pitch first inning, so certainly a better effort in this second inning by Rangers hitters. 3-2. And Andrus battling up there.
And that's an important thing, Dave, when you talk about facing Jason Hamill. He doesn't throw a lot of pitches in a ballgame. He only averages about 87 pitches per outing. So if the Rangers can get him up pitch count-wise early in the ballgame, that's going to benefit them when they get to the 5th and 6th innings, get Hamill out of the ballgame.
Andrus has already seen as many pitches in this at-bat as the Rangers did in all of the first inning. 8th pitch of the at-bat. And he'll hit it sharply. Nice stop by Russell. Little bobble. No play at first. Here comes Rua. He'll score. Down to second base is Andrus. They'll get him there, but the run counts. Great base running by Ryan Rua to score on that play. Rangers strike first this afternoon. He made Hamill work in the second inning. And after 1.5, Texas with a 1-0 lead. Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Bottom of the second inning on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon at Wrigley Field. Rangers with the 1-0 lead on a base hit by Elvis Andrus. He picked up the RBI on a look for a moment like maybe Addison Russell was going to make a spectacular play at shortstop, but threw it wide of first, and the base running by Ryan Rua was the key to the whole thing.
Yeah, Rua never slowing down, and Spike Owen, the Ranger third base coach, sending him all the way. And we finally found something that Anthony Rizzo doesn't do very well, and that's throw. That was a great play by Russell to get there, and watch the throw from Rizzo. Kind of had a little hitch in his get-along in that throw. And Rua taking all the way, and you can see Spike Owen say, "Get going, big guy." And he did. That is stealing a run by the Rangers.
Yes,
right
it
there.
is. Those feel pretty good. Meanwhile, Darvish jumps ahead of Contreras 0-2 and punches him out to start the second inning. That's 4 straight strikeouts for you, Darvish.
Well, Rizzo, Zobrist, and now Contreras have all seen that 2-strike breaking ball. That when you Darvish gets it going and gets you down 2 strikes, you might as well chalk it up. You're going back to the bench real fast. That's a devastating breaking ball from Darvish, and he'll throw it at different speeds. Turn it from a slider into a curveball.
One gone, and now he'll look at Jason Hayward. Hayward hitting .240. Getting the start this afternoon in center field. As you can see there, he's been swinging it a little better lately. 1-1 the count. So Darvish struck out the side in the first inning. And only one other pitcher this year that has managed to do that against the Cubs, and that is strike out the side in the first inning. Max Scherzer did it on June 13th. And Darvish came out, got another strikeout, but now Hayward sends one down the right field line toward the corner, but foul. Strike 2.
It didn't sound like he got it all of it solidly, but there are some days here at Wrigley where it doesn't matter. We turn the wind around a little bit, and that ball is up against the scoreboard. Not today. You got to pick your days to pitch at Wrigley. Timing is everything here.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you talk about the home field advantage at Wrigley Field. Definitely depends on what day you're talking about. A check swing, they'll peel it to third, and Laz Diaz said that Hayward holds up. It's like having several different home ballparks.
Yeah.
You just don't know which one you're going to today. And Darvish wants a moment to reset here to Hayward at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hayward batting 6th for the Cubs this afternoon. And that one runs a little bit in. Full count. So Darvish back for just his 4th start of the year. First time that he has started a game on the road this season. And it's the first time he's ever pitched against the Chicago Cubs. Payoff pitch, and he strikes out Hayward, and that's 5 in a row for Darvish.
Well, again, Darvish able to locate that breaking ball down and into a left-hander. He got Hayward over the top of that pitch.
Well, John Radigan was reporting right before the game about that upbeat feeling in the clubhouse, the lift that it seems Darvish is bringing to the ball club today. And you know, that's just a feeling. This is legit, though, when you get out here between the lines and you strike out 5 in a row. And he is giving this team a lift. Check that swing again, and no swing. 1-1 on Addison Russell. "22 years old, Russell, the everyday shortstop here in Chicago. One of 7 All-Stars the Cubs sent earlier in the week. And Russell makes contact, but it's not going to carry. O'Dort giving way to Andrews, who makes the catch, and it ends a 1-2-3 inning for Yu Darvish. 5 strikeouts through 2 frames, so the Rangers lead 1-0. Pudge Rodriguez and Rangers captain, July 26th at Whataburger on East Broad Street in Mansfield. Don't miss out on this chance to win great prizes and meet Pudge at Whataburger. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information. Alternately, you could be John Radigan. You could just be hanging out with him.
Yeah, or you could have John and Pudge all in the same spot. Look, so I'm sitting right here. This is my seat. Look who's behind me. Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge, you're on this trip with Neil Liebman that we sold at the Rangers triple play as Bobby Wilson's in there. But, you know, you're here for the weekend. Kind of fun to come back here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Especially here, I really feel, you know, great memories here. Beautiful. The atmosphere is unbelievable. And it's nothing better to watch a Sunday afternoon here in Chicago.
Yeah, they've changed it some since you played here. What do you think about the changes they've made to this place?
It's been very nice. You know, the scoreboard. Neither of these wasn't when I play here. You know, I saw their clubhouse earlier. You know, the construction they're doing, the new offices they're doing. You know, it's not much room to do things here, but it looks very nice.
Meantime, you're watching your team, the Rangers. You see Yu Darvish out there. Strikes out 5. He's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, he's looking good. You know, his fastball is 94, 96, which is very good. But so far, you know, it's 1-0. We're winning, but we need this win, John. We need him.
Yeah, need to get headed back in the right direction. You know how that goes. I talked to Ian Desmond before the game. He says, you know what? We're a resilient team, and coming back from something like this might also help a team.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be up and down season, but you know, but the thing is, you know, that we got to keep playing. You know, health is very important for us at this point of the season. But you know, what we need to do is just keep playing, stay strong, stay positive, and come ready to play every day.
Awesome. We appreciate you, Pudge. It's great to see you. Thanks for sitting right here with us. Let's get it back up to you guys, Dave. Pudge.
Right on, John. Nicely done. Always good to see Pudge out at the yard, even on the road. Well, 1 out here as Wilson grounded out, and the 2-strike pitch to Darvish. He's taken all the way. And that's 2 quick outs in the 3rd.
Yeah, Pudge is kind of like the modern-day Pokemon. You never know where he's going to show up. He does.
You just don't need you don't need your smartphone though to find it.
No.
There he is, right there.
Look at that. Well, Buzz, you've been out hunting Pokemon?
I have, yeah, I'm all the time. You know what? I would be one of those people that if I did that, I'd run flat into something. I'd knock myself out or whatever. Get hurt.
Well, I was thinking I've just learned what this whole thing is. I thought it might be kind of fun to do here to see where, if any, would be hiding at Wrigley Field. A curveball to Odor, and just like that, 0-2 the count. So Hamill has come back nicely in this third inning. Our TXU Energy power player to watch. Rougned Odor in that leadoff spot again today. You see the last 10 games, 6 of his 15 hits for extra bases, hitting for the good average. And he chases strike 3. So Hamill with a very tidy third inning. We played 2.5. And the Rangers lead the Cubs 1-0. Teaming up to bring you savings at the ballpark this season. You bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper. You can get savings of up to 29% on most Sunday through Thursday games. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to get your tickets from Monday, July 25th through Wednesday, July 27th, where the Rangers will be hosting the Oakland A's. But hurry, this offer ends in July. And here we go. Bottom of the third inning, and Miguel Montero will lead things off for the Cubs in the pitcher's spot. But Hamill's a pretty decent hitting pitcher. Darvish fires one low, and it's 2-0. Average has been terribly low for Montero this year, but getting on right about league average with that .319 on base percentage. Very high, 3 balls, no strikes. And they play Montero to pull it on the infield straightaway in the outfield. It's amazing that that sort of shift was notable 10 years ago when a guy like Adam Dunn might be batting, or I don't know, a handful of guys in the big leagues, Barry Bonds. It's everybody now. There's a shift of some kind for every hitter. That's ball 4, and Montero draws the second walk of the game by a Cubs batter.
There's no shift that is effective against that. No. Base on ball. There's no defense for it.
So the lead man on ahead of Jason Hamill. And Hamill, though, he's not an imposing sight in the batter's box. He's been pretty good. You look at those numbers, a 250 average. 10 hits, 2 of them are doubles. And he's looking to bunt. And Darvish goes right after him with strike 1. Hamill with 7 RBIs this year as well. Twice he has driven in the winning run in the game in which he has pitched. So a guy who can handle it just a little bit, and he does pull it back. The count 0-2. Everybody biting on that one. Beltre was at least halfway in from third base.
Yeah, you get a right-handed, excuse me, a right-handed hitting pitcher up there. The third baseman can go ahead and take a chance. He probably is not going to pull it, even if he does pull the bat back.
There's strike 3 called, and that is a 6th strikeout this afternoon for Darvish. Oh, with 1 out and a man on, we'll turn the lineup over. We'll also check in with Rick Renner on a Chevy game break. All right, thanks, Rick. 1 out as Tommy La Stella takes the ball. La Stella walked back in the first inning. Dave Raymond with Steve Busby from Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. 1-1 to La Stella. There's only been 1 ball put into play against Darvish so far this afternoon, and that was the pop-up by Addison Russell just behind second base. On 1, and there's a ball in play. Rua on the run, and they'll have to take it on the hop. A base hit for Tommy La Stella. Cubs have a couple of base runners in the 3rd inning.
A pretty good job by La Stella poking that ball the other way, and Darvish didn't make a bad pitch, but Brennan La Stella going out and getting that ball on the outside corner, down a little bit. It's kind of though the MO of this Cubs team for the most part. They'll use the entire ballpark. They're very patient as far as seeing a lot of pitches, and their on-base percentage would tell you they are very, very consistent doing that. They're first in the National League with that .348 on-base percentage.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
For a team number, that's
in the National League especially, where you got their pitchers hitting.
2 on the board now for Chris Bryant. And there's a good fastball, 98 from Darvish. Yeah, there you see some of the other offensive ranks. And that run total, that's most in baseball. 120 home runs. This team has mashed this season. And that guy at the plate has been the ringleader. 25 home runs to lead the National League. And 65 RBIs. How about that? He's played 6 different positions this season. 1-1. That is strike 2. The guy who came up last year after just a handful of games in the minor leagues, and Bryant didn't waste any time, put together an outstanding rookie campaign, and kind of shook things up a little bit early here in Chicago. They were thinking this year is the year that they were aiming for, but he advanced that timetable a little bit. And he strikes out for the 2nd time today. 7 strikeouts for Yu Darvish.
Now Darvish got Bryant the first time with a well set up fastball. Bryant got caught looking at a third strike. This time, going the other way around. Started him off with fastballs, got ahead, and put him away with a good sharp slider. So Chris Bryant next time up, trying to figure out, okay, well, he's done this to me, he's done that to me. What else does he have in the tank? And Darvish has something else for him, too. Don't know what it'll be yet, but he'll find out next time.
Well, 2 gone now. And Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo struck out in the first inning. I said they shared some of the spotlight since Chris Bryant has joined this team, and I'm sure very happy to do so. Rizzo has been the heart and soul of this offense for a couple of years now. And he hits this one sharply down the third base side foul. And you see Rizzo in the National League this year. Well, Chris Bryant may be the leader in home runs, but Rizzo has been every bit as productive. That's a heck of a righty-lefty combo that the Cubs are able to throw at opponents on a daily basis. Montero second, La Stella at first. Darvish looking for his 8th strikeout of the afternoon. The only problem with the strikeouts, of course, is that the pitch count can elevate a little bit.
Yeah, I never have figured that out. Why is it? Why is it guys that strike out people supposedly throw more pitches? It only takes three pitches to strike a guy out.
That one hit down into the right field corner, base hit, and Montero will score easily. La Stella's got good speed. He's waved to the plate, and the Cubs take the lead on the Rizzo double to right.
Rizzo got a mistake from Darvish, was able to go out and hook that ball to right field, and Rizzo likes the ball out away from him. Darvish trying to get that pitch down and in where he got the strikeout the first time. Rizzo, though, got that one that stayed out over the plate just enough for him to go down and drop the head of the bat on it, get it into the corner for that 2-bagger.
The first big hit of the day by the Cubs, only their second base hit of the game. Now Zobrist, who struck out back in the first. Sort of complete your theory. It only takes 3 strikes.
Yeah, and it takes 4 to walk guys. Why isn't the guys that walk more throw more pitches? I never have figured out why we just go with the strikeout. I understand why you would say that, but why people say that.
Yeah. Well, those guys that use the 4 pitches to walk a lot of dudes, they're oftentimes not very conversational this deep into the game. You're less worried about the pitch count in that case than the damage being done on the scoreboard. Now, big hit by Rizzo, and now 2-1 to Zobrist. And he is a very competitive at bat every time. In front, 2-2. So Rangers got the first run of the game. Ryan Rua scoring on an Elvis Andrus infield hit. But the Cubs have battled back in this 3rd inning against Darvish. That leadoff walk. We have sort of seen a lot of this. It's a 2-2. I mean, partly I think that the thing that frustrates you as a fan, or maybe down in that dugout, is that the walk was to the 8th place hitter. You just think that's a guy maybe you can be a little more aggressive, go after him a bit. 3-2, and that little tapper will be playable for Darvish. Good scoop to first, and the inning is over. The Cubs, though, jump back in front. The 2-run double by Rizzo. It's a 2-1 Cubs lead as we go to the 4th. Show is Friday, July 29th, sponsored by Sherwin-Williams. The Royals in town to take on your Rangers in a 7:05 game, and you can get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Fourth inning, and Ian Desmond starting things off. It'll be Adrian Beltre and Mitch Moreland to follow against Jason Hamill. A 2-1 Cubs lead. Hamill was very efficient in the first. He was very efficient in the third. Messed around a little bit in the second inning. That's where the Rangers got a run on him. The right-hander has gone after hitters aggressively early on. It's 2-1 now to Desmond. Part of that just trusting his defense. Desmond rolled out to second base, back of the first inning. This one shot out toward the corner in right field, but slices into the seats. Souvenir for somebody out there. And Desmond, fifth in the league with 113 hits, only 7 back of Jose Altuve, leading the American League. Tell you what, it was a very slow start, first couple of weeks for Desmond. And then he just took off.
And you go back to that cutoff time, going on strikes here, that cutoff time, the 19th of April, Ian Desmond was hitting 109. And since then, he's hit about 2,000,
right,
seems like.
Right around there, yeah. Rounding up.
Yeah, right. He's been something.
Played some great defense out there in center field. And one of 2 Rangers All-Stars. But goes down swinging to start the fourth. Here's Adrian Beltre. And a curve from Hamill. In there for strike one. Beltre flied out to left field. And his at bat on the first. Just like that, 0-2. Beltre working on a 4-game hitting streak. 5 hits, along with 3 walks in those 4 games. So he's been on base a lot lately. 1-2 the count. And he's a very helpful guy. Not just a good hitter, not maybe the third baseman of this generation, but he'll help a catcher out. Here, ball's right here, right in front of you. I don't think there's a more joyful player in baseball. It's so much fun to watch. Yep, here we go.
Just a lot of other guys couldn't react to that quickly. Adrian pounces on those deflections very fast.
They do everybody's job around here. He's unconventional, right? I mean, he's unconventional in just about every way. Count stays 2-2.
Yeah, very, very stylized in his own style.
Yeah.
That nobody else can copy. He's something. And you're right, nobody has more fun. He and Elvis have as much fun as anybody is allowed to have on the baseball field.
2-2. And he'll shoot it foul again. Yeah, you know, and if he didn't perform to the level he performs every day, there would be some folks who'd have a little trouble with how much fun he has. Because, I mean, we're supposed to take this stuff pretty seriously now. Infield back deep on him. And he'll go down swinging. And that is 4 straight strikeouts now for Hamill.
Now Hamill going up, down, in, out, moving around everything. And this time around, this second time through the order, he started breaking out the curveball a little more, taking something off the slider, so he makes it another pitch that guys have to worry about. And then the high fastball, the elevation, and the little extra speed has gotten a couple of strikeouts.
That's 5 for him this afternoon. Darvish has 7. And Moreland in a hole 0-1. Yesterday we were talking about how home runs are the thing this year. Strikeouts are a big part of the game. And we didn't have any home runs and very few strikeouts.
Yeah.
So I guess today the team's accommodating more of the typical 2016 ball game. 12 total strikeouts so far. And Moreland in a hole 0-2. It's popped up in the second inning. The 0-2 from Hamill. It's tight. Well, Moreland not quite at full strength. Playing today as he continues to work his way back from that tightness in his right calf. 2-2 the count. But I don't think anyone under the impression or harboring some belief that he's back at 100%. Trying to play through it a little bit. Here's the 2-2. And he hits it hard out to the gap right center field. Hayward with the long run, and he won't get to it. A double for Moreland with 2 out here in this 4th inning.
Now Mitch able to get some extension on this one. Stayed in the middle of the plate from Hamill, and that is right in Mitch's wheelhouse. Able to drive that ball past Jason Hayward and deepest right center field for the double. May not be at 100%, but what he brings to the ballpark is pretty good. You always get 100% effort from him.
No doubt about that, and he can still barrel it up. One well hit. Now gives an opportunity for Ryan Rua to bring him home. Rua had the base hit in the second inning, stole second, and then was ultimately able to score on some very good base running on a ball rolled to short. One and one. His next RBI will be 20th of the year for him. Should it happen here, it would tie this game. Moreland at second with that 2-out double. First extra base hit in this series for the Rangers. 1-2 now to Rule. Ryan snapped himself out of an 0 for 10 skid with that base hit in the second. Hamill with a 1-2 pitch. And no on the appeal. The Blazers been busy down there at first. I got the plate tomorrow. I make so many decisions today. Tumpane, the plate umpire, a minor league fill-in umpire with his crew. 2-2. And this time, no help needed. Tumpane rings him up. Hamill strikes out the side in the 4th. 3.5 this afternoon as the Cubs leading 2-1. Well, how about Steven Strasburg yesterday? Beat the Pirates. He's the first pitcher since 1912 and only the fifth overall since the expansion era to begin a season 13-0. Just an amazing start for Strasburg. Chris Taylor of the Dodgers. Grand slam in his first career home run last night against the Diamondbacks. Only the fourth player in Dodgers franchise history to do that. Here it's a 2-1 Cubs lead as Wilson Contreras will lead off the home half of the fourth inning. And this is a good breaking ball from Darvish for strike one. Contreras and Jason Hayward and Addison Russell. More wicked movement again on that pitch by Darvish, but it's 1-1. We kind of just go right past that little thing about Strasburg. First pitcher in the National League since 1912. Yeah. Rube Markwood was the pitcher in 1912. He went 19-0 to start that year. Still the major league record. 19-0.
Yeah, Strasburg's got a ways to go for that. Yeah. But he's got a shot at it. So that's a good club they have in Washington this year.
They have really taken off as a swing and a miss by Contreras evens the count at 2-2. National League has a handful of teams right now that look really formidable. The Giants, the Nationals. The Cubs certainly have that ability, though they haven't played real well in the last, let's say, month. 2-2. And that one off to the bat roll towards short. Good spinning play by Andrews, and the throw is true. Contreras gone, one away.
Very smooth on a very difficult play. Elvis making that look almost routine. Just to get to the ball took a great effort. Boy, that spin. And, hard for me to understand how a guy knows where first base is after spin around. Elvis knows exactly where it is every time he does that.
Yes, I thought you're supposed to set your feet, square your shoulders, follow through. Or here's Jason Hayward. Here's that big bender again. Ball one, and Hayward struck out swinging in the second. One of the hardest jobs might be a little league coach anymore. You tell kids,
right.
This is how you make the plays. Well, no, let's see how Elvis does it. And Jeter and everybody else. Jump in the air and you throw it. Many a ground ball taken, and that move made. I mean, it takes a lot of practice to get to that point. The 2-0. Strike one on Hayward. Nice souvenir. There we go. Now the 2-1. That ball hit hard. And make sure everybody's got all the fingers, all their toes after one of those gets up in there. Cubs starting to make a little more contact against Darvish. The 2-2 to Hayward. And he wouldn't chase it. Through 3 innings, the Cubs had swung and missed at 10 Darvish offerings and had only put 4 balls in play. The payoff pitch. And that ball hammered down the right field line. Good foul. Oh, look out. That thing was smoked.
If you're going to come inside to Hayward, you better have a little extra because Hayward's quick in there. Guys have been pounding him. That's how they've been getting him out since he came over to the Cubs. But it's been with good hard fastballs. That was a slider that didn't quite have enough to get into it.
That one's just a little bit away, and Hayward is the third walk issued by Darvish today. The Cubs have a man on. Bottom of the order here. Addison Russell, the 7th place hitter. He was the first man to put a ball in play for the Cubs today. A little pop-up in the 2nd inning. Darvish on a pitch count today. Activated from the disabled list for this start and puts it right on the outside corner for a strike. We'll see him throw in the neighborhood of 85 pitches, plus or minus, let's say 5 max. The key is for him to be effective today, but then to be effective every 5 days from now. 0-2 the count. Tim Payne might need a moment to walk that foul ball off. Bobby buying him a little time with that visit out to Darvish.
Catchers take care of the umpires. Umpires take care of the catchers. Just the age-old relationship.
So when that would happen, the catcher come out and you knew it was going on,
sure.
right? Would he actually say anything to you, or just like, well, here I go, I'm going back now?
No. My catchers never like to talk to me.
Were you cantankerous?
No. No, I just quiet.
Russell chases, and that is the 8th strikeout for Darvish. 2 out.
A good sharp slider. That's the hard slider from Yu Darvish, about 85 miles an hour. Addison Russell waving at it, which you see so many guys do. When Darvish is able to get 2 strikes on a hitter, he has a variety of ways to put him out.
Boy, and that particular way today has been awfully effective. A lot of chases, a lot of misses. And now Montero serves a souvenir out behind the Cubs dugout. What was it Bob Gibson famously said to Tim McCarver when he came out to announce something like, the only thing about pitching that you would know is that it's hard to hit?
Yeah.
That seems like a rude thing to say to your catcher.
But accurate, right?
Well, there's some truth to it. And that part maybe even worse. Runner going, and the throw down to second, and not in time. Here we got a pretty good jump. Great steals for Hayward.
Hayward read that move by Darvish very well, and with a higher leg kick than he will use from time to time with a runner on. Hayward able to pick that up and swipe his 8th bag of the year.
Number 1-1 to Montero. And it's strike 2. So you never had a line like that for a catcher.
No, I could never think of a line like that.
Shouldn't be thinking out there anyway,
That's right. That's right. Weaken the ball club.
Well, Montero walked in the 3rd inning. That was a pretty key walk in this game. Guy who came in with a 2.01 average. That set up the 2-run inning for the Cubs. Fouls this one off, keeps the count 1-2. Just 2 hits so far today for Cubs batters, but they have managed to coax 3 walks out of Darvish. All right, enters 1-2. Montero making him work. Miguel Montero, guy who really gave some great years to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a nice addition to this Cubs team last year, although the average was fairly low last year as well. And he's a guy who should, provide right in that neighborhood of 15 home runs a year. Maybe 75 RBIs. It's not been a big year for him this year at the plate. That visit by Bobby Wilson, one with a little more business in mind.
Well, preoccupation with Jason Hayward out at second base. I don't know whether they were thinking that maybe Hayward was relaying location or something. They wanted to clear that up very quickly.
1-2 pitch. And this one's popped up, might be playable. Long run for Beltre. Rua coming over, and just a couple of seats beyond the field. Yeah, he found it. That's a fifth foul ball in this at bat by Montero. Just turned 33 years old. About a week ago. Venezuelan-born catcher now makes his home in Arizona. Darvish strikes him out swinging. That's a 9th strikeout this afternoon for you, Darvish. Nice to have that man back out on the mound. We'll go to the 5th inning this afternoon at Wrigley. Cubs leading the Rangers 2-1. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving, because driving matters. 4 innings in the books. Some great pitching this afternoon. Yu Darvish with 9 strikeouts through his 4 innings. But Jason Hammel has dueled him nicely to this point. He has 6 strikeouts to his credit. Here's Darvish getting some advice from Doug Brocail. In his first year as pitching coach for the Rangers. Nomar Mazara leading off this 5th inning. Well, looks like Darvish, and they might be talking about what was going on last inning. Potentially with Hayward out at second base and relaying signs, that kind of stuff, as Mazara takes one in, 3-0. First time he's ever started against the Chicago Cubs. First time he's ever seen Wrigley Field. Hammel pours one in. It's 3-1. 6, 7, and 8 hitters do this inning. Mazara fouls it off. Make it a full count. They're respectful of Mazar's power. Contreras deep out in left field. And fairly deep anyway. The 3-2. And there we go. A walk to start the 5th inning. That's the first time this afternoon that the Rangers have managed to get that free base runner. We'll see if they can do anything with it. Andrews had the RBI single in the 2nd inning. You see an 8-pitch at bat. Pretty much all of it was away. Some concern by the Cubs that he may try to bunt Mazar to second base. Stella was creeping in over there at third base.
Yeah, you wouldn't think with your number 7 hitter that you'd be doing that middle part of the ball game. I don't think Joe Banner really is considering that as a possibility. But you know, with the way Elvis can bunt, the bunt for a base hit certainly is a possibility.
And he takes a strike from Jason Hamill. Now Russell at shortstop playing pretty much in a traditional spot. It seemed like they were playing Elvis just a tad more up the middle back in the 2nd inning, which is where he ended up hitting the ball. Mazar, though, at first base may change things a little bit. Bouncing to the left side. Stella to second run, and the relay in time for the double play. Well, that was pretty close over there at first. Nice turn by Zobrist, but LaStella really just got rid of that ball quickly.
Yeah, it was all started by LaStella, who really had a tough play to make. He had to either charge that ball and have a tough hop on the short hop, or wait back and then remove the chance for a double play. He chose to go after it aggressively and made a good quick throw to Zobrist, who turned it over.
So just like that, the leadoff walk erased, and now Bobby Wilson, and he lifts this one high in the air, first base side of the infield. Zobrist will give way to Rizzo, and there's a quick top of the 5th for Jason Hamill. He's been very effective this afternoon. Just 9 pitches needed in his half of the 5th inning. We're halfway there with the Cubs leading by 1. Fans to the ballpark on Sunday, July 31st, for the final game of the Royals-Rangers series. Well, they'll be treated to the Green Dot bobblehead, courtesy of Nitto Tires. The second in a series of 3-dot bobbleheads this season. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com and be sure to collect all 3 Dot bobbleheads. Bottom of the 5th inning. Darvish at 78 pitches through the first 4. Comes out to face Jason Hamill, the pitcher, and then back to the top of the order. 9 strikeouts this afternoon for Darvish. (2-0) though to the pitcher. 7 of the strikeouts swinging, 2 looking. In fact, it was Hamill who went down looking. His only time up today, back in the 3rd. And he's looking here at ball 3, 3-0. John Tolleson loosening up.
Yeah, and that pitch count you had talked about, Dave, fast approaching for you, Darvish. 85 or so.
He loses Hamill. And the leadoff walk, that was the culprit in the 3rd inning when he walked Montero. He kind of ups the ante a little bit here by walking the pitcher in the 5th. Well, let's check in with Rick Renner again on a Chevy game break. Go. Thanks, Rick. Tommy La Stella takes a ball. La Stella has walked and singled. He's been a bit of a problem today for Darvish. Hamill certainly not going anywhere over there at first. 1-1 the count to La Stella. Now that'll be fun tomorrow. It was Cole Hamels' last start as a Philly, as a National Leaguer. And he has been brilliant as a Ranger since then. 1-1. Strike 2 on La Stella.
And you, Darvish, having a little trouble right now, Dave. He probably has run into that wall physically, and he's starting to labor throwing the ball. Nothing critical, but this is where you don't want to push you in his first start back off the disabled list very much further. Now, they'll be extremely careful with him this afternoon.
We have a 1-2 pitch. And that'll square things.
The mechanics just aren't quite as sound as they had been in the first 4 innings that he worked.
This would certainly appear to be his final hitter. 2-2. Hit well, right field. But room back there for Mazzara. And that is out number 1. So finally able to retire La Stella. Chris Bryant due next, but it's 87 pitches now for Darvish. The reality is he's struck out Bryant both times.
That was a different Yu Darvish, though. You get to this point in the ball game, and I understand leaving you out there. He has earned the right to be out there to face Bryant, but I wouldn't go on past record to justify it.
And he finds an outside corner to Bryant. Bryant went down looking at the first, swinging in the 3rd. Looks like Tolly's ready. Bryant, the reigning National League Rookie of the Year, unanimous choice last season. 1-1 the count. And putting together a pretty good sophomore campaign. All-Star again, 25 home runs at the break. Homered in the All-Star game. 1-1. And he bounces at 3rd. Beltre to 2nd. In and out of the glove. And everybody's safe. Odor looked like he had time to pick it up and go back to the bag. And I think Jeff Bannister's, he certainly wants him to pause for a moment to see if that one was on the exchange. Odor certainly acted like it was.
Either that or Rugnet didn't think that Hamill was going to be that long getting to the bag. That just popped out of Rugnet's glove. That's all there was to it. Looked like it hit him right in the palm of the glove, and he hit the eject button, and it came right back out. Well, Steve Buechele will get a reading on that replay from Bobby Jones, from Anna Brenner. I think Rugnet figured, well, I dropped the ball, and Hamill's going to be there well ahead of anything I could do as far as getting the ball and stepping on the bag.
Vanny going to go out and have this conversation with the crew chief, Jeff Nelson, who incidentally was the man right there on top of that play. And they signal that this will be an official challenge.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can get it overturned with the idea that it was on the exchange. The drop was after the ball had been put in his bare hand, and the hand was coming out of the glove with it. That's going to be a tough one to overturn. And that play at second base is so bang bang anyway, as far as, you know, when do you have possession of the ball and you're exchanging it. I'm not sure you can get that one overturned very easily. Clear and convincing evidence would seem to be a hard thing to have in this case.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called on the field would probably stand. We'll see what they come up with the replay command center.
Replay review brought to you by Ford, and the call does stand. Well, they didn't take very long to figure that one out either. So Bryant on via the fielder's choice, and Hamill safe on the error. An E4 charged to Rugnet Odor. And for the Rangers, you can see they've had a handful of them lately. That also spells the end of the afternoon for Yu Darvish. 9 strikeouts in his return to the mound, though. A very impressive performance. Sean Tollison coming on. We'll tell you about him in just a moment. Cubs building something in this 5th inning. Darvish done. Sean Tollison has come on as we're already into that Rangers bullpen again before we get to a 5th inning.
Sean Tollison making his 34th appearance of the year. Tolly trying to right the ship for himself, get back into the position where he's one of the guys you go to late in a ball game. ERA came up last couple of times out. He inherits runners at first and second, just one out here in the 5th inning.
We're dealing with the 3 and 4 hitters. The first offering to Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo drove in the 2 Cubs runs back in the 3rd. Also struck out in the 1st inning. One of 9 strikeout victims for you Darvish this afternoon. Good effort that time by Bobby Wilson to try and bring that back up for a strike call, but Payne wouldn't give it to him. 2-0 to Anthony Rizzo. And this is where things get dangerous. '21 home runs for Rizzo this year. 63 RBIs, 5th most in the National League, and he's got Hamill at second, Bryant at first. I'll make the count 2-1. This is the type of inning that has been so problematic in this recent stretch for the Rangers. An inning that begins with a walk to the opposing pitcher. An inning that is extended on an error, what looked like a routine play at second base.
The Rangers have had done to them what they have been doing to people all season long, and that's take advantage of miscues. Rangers have been very, very good at taking advantage of the opposition errors, the opposition plays that weren't made, that should have been made. And now the Rangers are having those tables turned on them. And Jeff Bannister knows very good and well you go through ups and downs like this in the season, but you've got to stop making mistakes and not being able to overcome them in that inning. That's what's happened to the Rangers. Either the pitchers have to overcome the mistakes of the defense, or the defense has to overcome the mistakes of the pitchers, which would be walks.
Or you could cover it all up by scoring 15 runs a game.
And sometimes that wouldn't be enough if you get one of those streaks. Yeah, you're right.
True.
You're right.
I mean, there are ways around it, I guess, is the point, but it has been tough that way. 2 errors yesterday, an error today. This one smashed foul again by Rizzo, who continues to battle with Tolleson.
Rizzo's going after our own John Radigan over there. Hit the ball fair.
Oh, what did John do?
Yeah, it was close. That one was close. The photographer right in front of me took the brunt of it, poor guy. Says he's okay. He's tough, though.
He is that.
Yeah.
2-2, and that's the 5th consecutive foul ball off the bat of Anthony Rizzo.
The Rangers really trying to pound Rizzo inside. You can understand why. You see the hot zones out away from him. Rizzo loves to get his arms extended, get that bat out over the plate and rake. He's very, very good at it.
2-2, bounced to the right side. Good feed by Odor. No relay offered by Andrews. And Odor, it was everything he could do to get that ball to second base. He was losing his balance. Excellent job to get rid of it. Second out of the inning.
Yeah, nice job by Ruggiero going to his right. That's not an easy play. It's not a play that you're accustomed to making as a second baseman. You're in the overshift, and normally you don't have that far to go when you're on the dirt like that towards second. But good job by Odor to get the force at second base to remove Bryant.
Is Bryant on the bag? You know, look at that slide. And I think that's what Jeff Bannister's out there to argue. That I mean, he's going at the bag and then he changes directions clearly to me.
Yeah.
And he's not even touching it.
Letter of the law, that is supposed to be interference by the runner. So the umpires are going to get together and rule on that. Now again, the change in interpretation of that is that you don't have to be in the act of throwing it to first base to be interfered with and have it be an automatic out anymore. If the slide rule is broken, that's where you need to slide at the bag and not adjust your path according to where the infielder is. That's supposed to be an illegal slide under the new interpretation. Now, does he adjust his path?
Well,
yeah,
sure
I can
looks
say
like it to me.
Say he does. And whether he hits him or not is insignificant anymore. It doesn't make any difference.
It almost looked too like Bryant just reflexively went back to the way you used to play.
Probably.
And then all of a sudden was sitting there in the dirt saying, uh-oh,
yeah,
I better touch the base.
Well, that's been the complaint by the players, is that, hey, you know, we've been raised ever since Little League to do things a certain way. And we're just not going to change it automatically.
My guess is Banny is not going to like whatever explanation he's about to get.
Probably not.
And the man doing the talking, Jeff Nelson, trying to explain to him that, well, we didn't see it that way. Yep. So,
well, it'll be interesting to find out what kind of interpretation Jeff was given. What the umpires felt they could enforce and couldn't enforce.
So now they're on the corners. Rizzo at first, and Jason Hamill, who's been out on the bases since this inning began. And it's one of those things you keep an eye on in National League games. The pitcher, when he's doing a lot of base running, or just hanging out on the bases instead of relaxing, getting ready for his next inning. Oftentimes you can witness a little difference in his next half inning out on the mound. Tollefson wants to make sure it's a one-run difference when we get to that next half inning. He's got that man Ben Zobrist to deal with. In the cleanup spot today. Switcher to batting left-handed, and he takes strike one. Zobrist signed to a 4-year deal this offseason by the Cubs. One of the most sought-after free agent bats around the baseball winter meetings in early December. That's strike two. Zobrist has been a hot hitter for the Cubs in this downtime recently. 4 homers. He's scored 10 runs in the last 13 games. Collison's 0-2. Smothered nicely by Bobby Wilson. Wilson now to make sure everybody's on the same page. Rangers got the first run today. That was in the second inning on an Elvis Andrus infield hit. Cubs got 2 in the third. And now Tollefson trying to get out of a jam in this 5th inning. He just missed that outside corner. 2-2. Yu Darvish started today, went 4 1/3. Runners out there, his responsibility. 2-2 pitch. Oh boy, full count now. Tollefson kind of letting Zobrist back in this at bat a little bit.
Good. You can't get Zobrist to expand his strike zone. He's just has too good an eye at the plate, and he's also too disciplined.
Okay, who walks more than he strikes out. The payoff, and he'll hit this one to Odor with a leaping grab on the edge of the outfield grass. Inning over. And the Rangers dodge a bullet. We go to the 6th inning, still 2-1 Chicago. Sonic. Today's jackpot worth $600 in dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Darlene Connor from Louisville will win $600. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, well, Darlene will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic location. 2-1 Cubs. We go to the sixth inning. A pitcher spot due, and Tollison, who came in to finish up that fifth inning, is going to go ahead and hit. So no pinch hitter used here. Rangers just perhaps not feeling they have the depth in the bullpen to burn a pinch hitter here. Not going to burn a pitcher. They want to use Tollison in the sixth inning. Sean pretty relaxed up there. Doesn't look like he's terribly intent on doing much. I was talking to Doug Brocail about it today. I said, what are you telling your guys? How much work have you put in? He said, yeah, with the injuries we have, better not be swinging. 2-2.
Yeah, you can swing, but don't get hurt. That's the imperative.
Last time Tollison had an at-bat was in 2012. He was at AAA Albuquerque. Serves it into the upper deck here, and it's 2-2. Gotta believe, though, as a pitcher, could be hopefully tantalizing opportunity for you to be a hero. It's a swing and a miss. That strikeout starts the sixth. I would think as a pitcher, even knowing my own limitations, I would want to take some pretty aggressive hands. Well, I'm a bad golfer, but I like to swing hard.
Sure. Just in case you hit it.
One out. Now to the top of the order for Rougned Odor. Now Himmel, he got Tollison on the strikeout there, but there were moments where he was a little bit out of the zone a couple of times. He was out on the bases for 18 minutes. That last half inning. And it's 2-0 to Rougned Odor.
Yeah, and he's also about to the point where he has averaged in the last 15, 16 starts up around 85, 87 pitches. That's been his maximum. And, only 3 times has he gone up to 100 pitches this year. So this could be the area where it's unfamiliar territory for him.
To that end, they have a couple of arms warming in the bullpen. Our Ford leaderboard, home run since 2014. Odor, 41 of them. He shoots this one in the air, left field. Contreras tracks it down 2 away. Double barrel action. Warren and Wood. So the bullpens are going to get some work in this one today, despite the fact the scoreboard says pretty well pitched ball game, 2-1. There's 5 hits in this game total. Comebacker Hamill will take care of it to retire Desmond and complete a 1-2-3 inning. Hamill continuing to cruise this afternoon. To the bottom of the sixth we go. Cubs lead it 2-1. or more start at only $12 and offer savings of nearly 50%. Group pricing is available in 9 different seating areas, plus the all-inclusive and newly renovated Cholula all-you-can-eat seats. Learn more about the group savings offered for every Rangers game at texasrangers.com/groups. We get back to action here, bottom of the 6th inning. Wilson Contreras batting against Sean Tollison. We got the final 2 outs of the 5th inning for Yu Darvish. Little tapper, third base. Beltre charges, and the throw not in time. Fantastic effort again out of Adrian Beltre, but just a nearly impossible play.
You can't make it any better than what Beltre just did. Adrian makes that play as well as anybody I've ever seen in the game. Bare hand pickup and throwing from down there, but that ball right in the middle between between home plate and third base. Not much you can do with Contreras running. Most guys would not even bother with a throw.
A lot more can go wrong with that play than can go right. Unless that man is handling the duties. What an amazing effort. Contreras on though, and 1-0 the count to Jason Hayward. He's had some decent swings from that left side today. Moreland to second for one. The relay from Andrews. In and out of the glove, but it wouldn't have mattered. Would not have been in time to get Hayward. So Contreras erased on the 3-6 putout. Now a little better speed out on the bases for the Cubs with Hayward taking over at first.
Well executed pitch by Sean Tollison. Got that jam shot and pitch. Making a very strong, accurate throw to second base. Eject button is in Sean's glove.
Hayward out there now, and here is Addison Russell, hitless in 2 tries. Oh, wind seems to have picked up a little bit. And if it helps anybody, it would help right-handed hitters. Coming off the lake on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. We had a rather miserable day here yesterday. Ball to Russell. 1-0 the count. In mid-July, you can't dial up better weather than we've been given this afternoon. Tollison with a look over to first, and just ever so slightly had Hayward leaning to second base. Hayward has stolen a base earlier in this game, 8 so far this season. And Tollison taking no chances, just to make sure he stays nice and close to that bag. Since Tollison's taken over, the 4 batters he's faced, he's had a couple of opportunities at double plays. And if that's going to be the case here, then you got to keep the runner over at the bag. 2-0 the count to Addison Russell. Russell batting 7th. Miguel Montero awaiting his turn in the on-deck circle. The bottom of the order haven't done damage per se. They've played a big role in this game with a couple of walks. Montero's and then Jason Hamels in the 5th inning. Long hold.
Yeah, the one thing that the walk to Hamels did for Yu Darvish was cut down the amount of pitches he had left in the ball game to throw. He had gotten with that walk in hot water and had to work a couple of extra hitters that finally got him out of the ball game in the 5th inning.
They were bluffs. Russell sends one in the air to right field. And that is out number 2. That's right into the teeth of the wind. Not much Russell was going to get out of that one. And so Tollefson trying to get through an inning and 2/3. Got to take care of Miguel Montero. Keep it a 1-run game. Bottom of the 6th. The next question will be, will Jason Hamill come out for that 7th inning, or the Cubs go to their bullpen? Had some guys warming up. Ball 1 to Montero.
Well, if Montero gets on, I think you're going to see a pinch hitter for Hamill based on what we saw Joe Madden do yesterday. That's why the bullpen is going for the Cubs. But Alex Claudio is ready if needed for the Rangers down in that bullpen.
Two 2-0. It'll be the heart of the order. Drew up in the 7th inning for the Rangers. So whichever direction Joe Madden goes, it'll be a fairly important decision. Could be a key half inning to this game. Montero jumping ahead here, 3-0. Might well be that Tollefson's going to force Joe Madden's hand. Put Montero on, you got to figure there would be a hitter. 3-1 the count now. Well, it's been a slow year at the plate for Montero. Still a guy you've got to respect. That one's ball 4, so he is on. And that'll be it for Hamill. They will go to the bench. Take a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard fact. So Whitey Lockman ejected in the 11th inning of that ball game in May 1973. Ernie Banks became the manager and officially then the first African American to manage a major league game. Very much the legend here in Chicago, Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Now Doug Brocail out there with Tollefson and Bobby Wilson to discuss maybe what it is, how they want to go after Matt Caesar, who will be the pinch hitter.
Well, you remember yesterday when Caesar came on as a pinch hitter. First ball swinging, he got a very big 2-run single. And I would imagine the discussion right now is, okay, you've got a pinch hitter coming off the bench. This guy is a first ball fastball hitter. Let's try and work. If you're going to go with the fastball, let's try and get a location where he's not going to be able to get the good wood on it. That's one of the things you talk about. And that's one thing you don't talk about very much in the American League, or nearly as much as you do in the National, where pinch hitting is much more prevalent.
I'll tell you, the first question that comes to mind when I see Caesar coming to the plate.
You want to buy him a vowel?
Yeah. How do you come up with Caesar?
Oh no.
S-Z-C-Z-U-R.
Looks like somebody stuttered when they tried to spell his name.
It seems to violate a lot of the rules of the language. As a pitch to Caesar is first ball swinging on a base hit to center field. Hayward around third. He'll score. Cubs out a big insurance run. 3-1 to score.
Second day in a row, Matt Caesar's gotten a very big pinch hit for the Chicago Cubs. Both of them coming in the 6th inning. And today, again, first pitch. Like it was the breaking ball that stayed up a bit from Sean Tollefson, and Caesar able to drop the head of the bat on it right back up the middle.
Well, off the end of the bat. Not had enough to get it through. Big hit by Caesar. Adds to the Cubs lead, and Jeff Bannister back into his bullpen. And we'll tell you all about it when we come right back. Want you to show your Maverick pride at a Rangers game. You get discounted tickets for the Friday, August 26th game against the Indians. And the first 1,000 fans with a UTA ticket at the park get free Rangers cap in Maverick blue and orange. Go to TexasRangers.com/UTA for details. And here we go. Alex Claudio on. Ball one to Tommy La Stella.
Well, Alex brought on to face the left-hander La Stella for Alex's 16th appearance of the year. League hitting just .284 against him. Left-handers not nearly that well.
This one fouled off. 1-1 the count.
Always interesting to see the first time that somebody has seen Alex Claudio, how they react to that cartoon changeup that he throws and the combination fastball. Get some strange looks and some strange swings.
Yeah. Needs one big out to get out of this inning. And here's 1-1. Estella off the handle, pops it up. Shallow right field. And Mazzara battling the sun makes the play to win the inning. But the Cubs add another two-out run. They lead it 3-1 as we go to the 7th inning at Wrigley. Well, our four-game summary today. We take you to the second inning. Elvis Andrus reaches on that infield hit, but Ryan Rua racing from second base scores the first run of the game, and then Andrus gunned down to in the inning. It's okay, leading 1-0. But then Anthony Rizzo with his two-out double in the third inning put the Cubs in front. All the runs today scored with 2 outs, including the last run. Matt Caesar with the RBI pinch hit single on the first pitch he saw just moments ago. And made it 3-1 Chicago. So the Cubs with a 2-run lead as we go to the 7th inning. And a double switch as Baez coming in to take over at third base. And Warren is the new pitcher.
Adam Warren, his 28th appearance of the year, 3-2 the record, 5.79, a rather bloated ERA, and that's been problematic for the entire bullpen staff of the Cubs. That ERA has been ballooning up on them. They can't quite get it down.
And Baez, he'll be batting 9th in the Cubs order. And Warren inserted into that leadoff spot. It's Beltre, Moreland, and Ryan Rua in the 7th inning, and a pretty big 7th inning this well may be. Trailing by 2. And the 2-0 pitch, Beltre fights it off. It's 2-1. To your point, Buzz, from June 20th to the All-Star break, Cubs starters had an ERA over 6. And with the effort by Hamill today, they've allowed 1 earned run in 12 innings pitched in this series. So the starters anyway starting to turn it around. But the Cubs bullpen, they've had their fair share of struggles.
Yeah, it has been very problematic for them. And the bullpen seems to have undergone renovations about weekly for Chicago. They've been trying to mix and match out there as best they could.
3-2. The count to Adrian Beltre, who was flied out and struck out this afternoon. Rangers might be happy to see that Cubs bullpen. Beltre stays alive. That one just does go foul. Any more with teams' bullpens and everybody throwing 98 plus and with a nasty secondary pitch. You almost don't want to get into bullpens, but I think certainly today, Rangers happy to see some of these Cubs relievers. Hamill just had their number. 2-2 pitch, and that's bounced deep at third. Baez has a chance to check the label. Throw to first. Beltre out to start the 7th.
Baez made a pretty good play playing back behind the bag. He had a long throw, about 140 feet or so, and he used the long hop right on the line. And Baez had time to set himself and get a strong throw off. Rizzo pretty good around the bag over there at first base too.
Well, he's had a handful of challenging plays over there this afternoon. He's done nicely. Here's Mitch Moreland. Moreland with the double in the 4th inning. That was his first ever hit at Wrigley Field. Prior to that, 0 for 12 in his career at this old ballpark. 1-1 the count. Mitch getting the start at first. Fielder getting the day off. No DH in this weekend series in Chicago. 2-1 to Moreland. Rangers need a base runner. Warren being a little careful here with Moreland. Per usual, the dramatic infield shift against Mitch. A lot of room over on that left side for him. They throw him something good here, 3-1, and he's swinging right into the teeth of that shift, and he is out at first. That one handled by Baez, the third baseman, who had shifted all the way over out of the short right field. So it goes down as a 5-3 putout.
Well, good news about that is Mitch got down the line pretty well. Looked like he was running without favoring that right calf, so that's good news. Bad news is it's out number 2 in the inning.
He made that a pretty close play. And here's Rua, 1 for 2. Warren got Beltre to ground out to Baez right near the line deep at third. Then got Moreland to bounce out to Baez way out in right field. And now it's 1-1 to Ryan Rua. We've talked about some of the versatility of a handful of these Cubs players. Well, they can play all over the field, literally sometimes in one inning.
Yeah.
He's, Baez has a little bit of the Profar thing going for the Cubs. He's that guy that they like to get in there, get his bat in there. They feel like they can use him effectively at any position, even though they feel that way about a lot of guys. He's just kind of blocked right now by some very talented players like Addison Russell at short. And of course, when they got Zobrist, that meant a little cut back into some playing time at second for him. Pitch to Rule a little tight. It's a full count.
Yeah, and even before they got Zobrist, when they had Starlin Castro here, they had 3 guys that basically were the same player.
Payoff pitch, and that's high, so Rua draws the 2-out walk. Well, now, let's see if Nomar Mazara can make something out of this, although he's going to have to do it against somebody else. Joe Madden says, nope, we're done with Adam Warren. So new pitcher coming in for the Cubs. We'll tell you about him when we come back.
Seventh inning as we welcome you back to Wrigley Field. We made a little noise last night when we went out for dinner. Now, when we go out for dinner, we generally don't go to the nicest place in town, but typically it's one of the most interesting. Now, so we were in a dark alley. Look at this, a dark alley. It's actually underneath Michigan Avenue. Old fans of Saturday Night Live will recognize the place immediately because of the sign outside. Yeah, Cheetah Boogie, Cheetah Boogie, Cheetah Boogie. Pepsi, no Coke, Cheeps. No fries. You remember that old skit from Saturday Night Live. It's based on this restaurant. This shows how nice it isn't. The menu is on the wall. They don't hand you a menu, and they sometimes just order for you. When I walked in, they said, "You need a double, big guy." I was like, "I want a single." They said, "No, you take this double." That's the burger. It's delicious. And the really cool thing about the Billy Goat, guys, is the owner of that is the guy who originally started the curse of the Billy Goat here at Wrigley Field. He brought his goat to a game back in 1945. Philip K. Wrigley said, "Get your smelly goat out of here," and he put a curse on the team. We're hoping that by eating there last night, maybe we continued the curse. Let's see if the Rangers can keep it going here, guys.
Nicely done, John.
Look at that burger. It was delicious. We talked about it this morning. It doesn't look like it's that great. It's just meat, bun, and cheese, but it was awesome, guys.
Well, for what it's worth, I'd take a double right now from Mazzara. Rangers trailing by 2. At first base. But Nomar in a hole, 1-2. Travis Wood on a relief. Count stays 1-2.
Well, the Rangers saw Travis Wood yesterday briefly and got a couple of hits off him. See if they can do some damage today. Wood often used out of that Cub bullpen. This is his 46th appearance of the year.
He deals with that runner at first, the 1-2 pitch, and that'll even it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pretty much a left-handed specialist, a matchup guy. He's tough on left-handers, no doubt about that.
Wood now in his 5th season with the Cubs, making him the longest tenured Cub. The 2-2. And that is strike 3. Mazzara down looking into any opportunity in the 7th for the Rangers. They'll stand and stretch this afternoon here at Wrigley with the Cubs leading the Rangers 3-1. Our AT&T high-speed replay, and this is Yu Darvish. Struck out the side in the first, struck out the first 2 men he faced in the second. Darvish in 4 in the 3rd innings, 9 strikeouts. Slider was working early on. You can play bottom of the 7th inning. Chris Bryant leading it off for the Cubs. And Keone Kela back off the disabled list for this series and making his first appearance against the Cubs.
First time we've seen Keone since the 20th of April at the big league level. Nice to see him back on the mound and get that
strong right arm working again.
Kofar's taken over at first base. Kella's 1-1. And that one got in there in a hurry. It looked like it had some pretty good late movement as well. 1-2 the count to Bryant, who is hitless so far in 3 tries, a couple of strikeouts earlier on against Darvish. Playing to pull to the left side of the infield. There's that shift you don't see employed quite as often. Odor just to the other side of second base. So Kella, the 4th pitcher in this afternoon's game. 2-2. Strike 3 called as he gets Bryant looking.
A nice way for Keone to return to action at the big league level. 97-mile-an-hour fastball that got rung up on Chris Bryant.
Getting the benefit of the call there from Tim Payne on the upper edges of the zone. Let's see what he does with Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo asked for time and stepped out on Keone. More heat. This one in there for a strike to Rizzo. 97, 98 miles per hour so far in the early goings for Kella. It's a big power arm to get back into that bullpen. 0-2 the count. I was talking to Kella in that during that last home series right before the All-Star break, as he was anxiously awaiting the break and the chance to get back with his team. He's never been through anything quite like this rehab that he's had to go through, and he strikes out Rizzo with good heat upstairs. Back-to-back Ks. We'll bring up Ben Zobrist, but first we check in again. Rick Renner on a Chevy game break. Oh yeah, thanks Rick. That was really big news yesterday, the Cuban signings. And they spent a lot for Gurriel, $47.5 million. So they certainly feel like there's something there. 1-1 to Ben Zobrist. Kella buries one for ball 2. Keone struck out Bryant looking, and then got Rizzo swinging. But it's fallen behind Zobrist here, 3-1. Rangers signed Alexi Bell out of Cuba yesterday. Didn't pay nearly as much money. Bell, 32 years old, and has long been an established great player in Cuba. Check swing. He did not go, and Zobrist draws the walk. So a 2-out walk for Zobrist, his first of the day. It'll bring up Wilson Contreras. Alexi Bell had spent 14 years in Cuba's top league, the National Series. The prize out of Cuba this year is apparently Gurriel. And the Astros got him for 5 years, just under $50 million as Contreras takes strike one. Darvish allowed or gave up 4 walks. Tollison walked a batter, and now Kella. So that's 6 free passes so far today, and Contreras shoots this one into the upper deck. This is a pretty good plays by the fans. Is that the second in that row? Did you see that?
Could be.
Like that other fella had one too. Must be better weather for the fans. Yesterday, some of the plays we saw were less graceful.
Yeah. Fans were more bundled up yesterday. You can understand why. Today, not so much.
Just across the street. And bounces up to the plate. That rooftop that we just saw a moment ago, I believe out there on Shefflin in right field. And out there in left field on Waveland. It's big business now. Contreras swings and misses. How about Kella strikes out the side in the 7th. So Keone is back. Rangers get a couple of arms back, and they're racking up the strikeouts this afternoon, but they trail the Cubs by 2. And this road trip continues. Tomorrow, the finale here in Chicago. Then it's off to Anaheim for 3. Off day, and then the weekend series in Kansas City. Rangers will be very happy to be back home for a couple of days anyway to see Oakland and Kansas City later in the month. But a month predominantly spent on the road. Scheduling in June and July for the Rangers. Not ideal, but everybody goes through it. You have to play your 81 home dates and your 81 road dates somehow or another. As we get going in the 8th inning with strike 1 to Elvis Andrus. Travis Wood stays in the game for the Cubs. And that one misses a little tight, 1-1. Andrus bounced into that double play in the 5th inning after the leadoff walk to Mazzara. That was a pretty big play. Of course, he also reached on the infield hit in the 2nd that allowed the first and only Rangers run to score this afternoon. A game that has featured just 7 total hits for these two teams. Andrews, slow bouncer third. Baez on the run, though, and able to get Andrews by a couple of steps. Hey, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details. Wood's first pitch to Bobby Wilson, and that one hit sharply to third. Baez stays with it. 2 gone.
Well, that thing almost took Javier Baez out of the left field. Blast off the bat of Bobby Wilson, but Baez, I don't know whether he got his body in front of the ball intentionally or whether he just couldn't get out of the way. Either way, fortunately that ball stayed right in front of him for the out.
Well, since he's come in the game, and he came in to play defense in the 7th, Rangers have put 4 balls in play, and they've all gone to him.
They found him, haven't they?
Even when he was trying to hide in right field. Well, here's Profar. Came to play first base, bats for the first time this afternoon. And Wood jumps ahead of him, 0-2. So Profar was a pinch hitter yesterday in the 8th inning, came up with a hit. Something he's done very well. So he has become rather skilled at entering games late and contributing. 1-2 the count. Wood wastes no time. And Jurickson keeps the at-bat going at 1-2. Rangers running out of time in this one this afternoon, trailing 3-1. Yu Darvish started, struck out 9 in 4 1/3 innings. Bullpen's been pretty good since, but not much doing offensively today again for the Rangers. Matt Bush preparing to pitch in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 of the Rangers' 3 hits came in the 2nd inning. Their other hit was the double by Mitch Moreland in the 4th. Nothing since then. Woods 1-2. That'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cole Hamels will have the start tomorrow against John Lackey for the Cubs in the final game of this 3-game series. Will Montero taking some time to figure it out. And it's a full count now on Profar. Well, win or lose, the story today was going to be Yu Darvish. And you know, what did you think overall, Buzz?
Well, he came out of it healthy. That's the big thing. I mean, you know, assuming he did. He threw a few too many pitches, but he looked overall. He looked very good.
Profar chases strike 3, and it's another 1-2-3 inning. This time authored by Travis Wood. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning at Wrigley, where the Cubs lead the Rangers 3-1.
perfect. It's been a great day for baseball here at Wrigley Field, and we just got to get the Rangers a couple of more runs to make it absolutely perfect. Either way, they'll do it again tomorrow here at Wrigley Field. It's same time, same station. It's Cole Hamels against John Lackey. Look at that pitching matchup. AT&T high-speed internet reminds you that the game starts tomorrow at 1:20, but the Rangers live program gets going at 12:30, guys.
Yeah, thanks, John. Bottom of the 8th inning, and the first pitch, Jason Hayward lifts it into left field. Rua toward the line, and there's one away. Bush has come on to pitch in this 8th inning.
Well, Rangers able to follow Kella up with Matt Bush. It throws equally hard, if not just a little bit harder. Matt hasn't had a lot of work lately, and that's been good news because he's been used heavily up until the All-Star break, 27th appearance, 3-1 mark, and he has been brought on here for the first time after the All-Star break.
Got Hayward, now deals with Addison Russell. Miguel Montero due up 3rd in the inning. And it's 1-1 on Russell, who's hitless in 3 tries. And you see Rondon, the closer for the Cubs, getting loose. It will be top of the order in the 9th. Ideally, it'll remain a 2-run game. Bush is the 5th pitcher this afternoon for Texas. Yu Darvish 4 1/3, then Tollison, Claudio, Kella, and Bush. This one shot out there to first base where Profar in position to haul in the soft liner. 2 away.
A little surprising, I thought, Dave, considering looking at this series coming in, I thought there'd be some more offense than the 2 teams have combined for. With the exception of the Cubs' 6th inning yesterday, both the Rangers and the Cubs have been hard-pressed to put runs on the board.
In fact, you've taken out that inning, and neither team has had much of a threat.
Yeah.
You know, it's a run here, a run there, but pitchers have pretty much dominated so far as Montero finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Montero's been a problem today, though. A walk that started the 2-run 3rd inning, and then a walk in the 5th inning that ended up resulting in a run. Bounces this one to Beltre. Good stretch by Profar, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning. So Bush very effective in his half of the 8th. Last chance for the Rangers. Coming up, top of the order, will be due. right, thanks, Rick. 9th inning. Last chance for the Rangers. And Hector Rondon is on to pitch for Chicago.
Now the Cubs closer is appearing in his 33rd ball game of the year. Pretty good ERA and even better opponent's batting average, 157. Opponent's hitting against the hard-throwing right-hander.
He starts Odor with strike one. Rondon, the 4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Cubs. It's now 1-1 to Rougned. There you see Wilson Contreras. He is moved behind the plate from left field. He played the first 8 innings. And Chris Bryant, now the new left fielder, he moved there from right. One. Chopper, first base side, but foul. I had looked at a lot of trouble right there for Rondon. Cubs have a new center fielder, Albert Almora, who comes off the bench, replacing Hayward. And Hayward has moved over into right. So Joe Madden just showing off now. He's moving guys all over.
Same guys in different positions with the exception of Almora. You wondered if it works in the 9th inning, why would you start with that thing that way? But can't argue with the results that Joe Madden's gotten.
1-2 pitch, up and away. Good heat that time from Rondon. He's converted 14 of his 18 save opportunities this year.
And Rondon is very much a power pitcher. He averages better than 12 strikeouts per 9 innings of work this year.
Odor goes down after this one. And they'll run out of room over that first base side. And that back continues. And that celebration just started. Oh, there you go. They gave it to a Rangers fan. Beautiful. I will say, folks here in Chicago, very accommodating, very friendly. 2-2. Odor smashes this one right field. Hayward is back shading his eyes, has some trouble, but came down with it. He made the catch, but he survived the sun. That's a tough play.
That was an amazing play by Jason Hayward, and I've got to think that was maybe about 50% good fortune, too, because there's not much you can do. That ball gets to the sun, and he's trying to shade his eyes with his bare hand. That's not going to do a whole lot, but just able to stay with it long enough to grab that ball. Boy, that is a tough sun field right now.
Man. So one tough out, and here is Ian Desmond, and a comebacker. Rondon right there for it, 2 away. Well, that'll get them up 41,346. Another sellout here at Wrigley Field. Rangers have had just 2 base runners since the Moreland double in the 4th. Walks to Mazzara in the 5th inning, Rua in the 7th inning. Beltre collared so far in 3 tries. And Rondon's 1-strike offer hits the corner. Beltre making of her a challenge for Hayward again with the sun, but he battles and wins again. A 1-2-3. 9th inning, Rondon picks up the save, and the Cubs have taken the first 2 games of this series, a 3-1 final this afternoon. We'll be back with more in just a moment.